after e4, b6, d4, bishop b7, bishop d3, and g6, knight f3, bishop g7, black has played the two fianchettos defense, white continues with the thematic h4. So we've seen a few videos. This is the continuation of the saga of how to beat fianchetto defenses. In previous videos we went through h5, knight f6, the two knights, and a bunch of opening central pawn moves. In this video we're gonna go through this move, c5. This is in order to develop the knight without blocking the c pawn, also to put double attack on the pawn in d4. It's a more active move and it's a variation that we need to see. White continues with h5, ignoring the pawn in d4. So when black takes it, then you can play h6 and force the bishop away. So the bishop can't take the pawn because it's well defended. And now you can take the pawn in d4. This is just already better for white. Let's explore two moves. One of them is knight c6, the other one is knight f6. Okay, let's just start from knight f6. It's putting double attack on the e4 pawn, so that's reasonable. This is met by the immediate e5. And now the black bishop can't take the pawn in g2, simply because, let's make an example, bishop takes rook h2 with attacking the bishop whilst the pawn is attacking the knight. There's two pieces hanging. That means black has lost a piece. So in this position we play e5. So what happens e5? It looks all good. White now though plays this move, bishop e4, and is pinning the knight to the bishop. That means if black plays whatever move, let's say e6, just an example, c4 simply wins for white. You're winning a piece. So how will this continue? Black can try to hold on and play like queen. This is the best move according to the engine. Still, you take the knight, and after the queen takes in e5, there's an attack on the bishop, and the bishop is pinned, and black is planning to play f5 or pawn takes and recapture material. Here you give up the bishop. The best move is the castle. So after queen takes, we're equal in material, but white is winning. Knight c3 attacks the queen can't take the pawn, so the queen will have to move away. When the queen moves, let's say queen e5 or whatever other moves, the next move is knight d to b5, and it's already game over because the white knight's attacking c7 and d6. All we need to do is play rook e1 to attack the queen. The queen will no longer stay on this diagonal, and the knight could fork the king and rook. So for example, a6, just play rook e1. And then you do this move. If not, if black plays knight to a6, protecting the square c7, still rook e1, and after queen f6, white continues with knight e4, attacking the queen and putting double attack over the square d6. After queen to d8, it looks like black can try to continue a normal game. Well, definitely doesn't look any good, but still. Queen to d4, all of these moves are forced because you're attacking the rook. Pushing the pawn is pointless, it's attacked twice. So after rook to g8, the best move by white is bishop to g5, development is complete. And you have ideas, if bishop blocks, you have all sorts of ideas. I'm gonna go through queen c8, but if bishop blocks, you still have this got knight move here, you got this knight moving, the knight is moving as well. After the check you can take the bishop for free. It's entirely up to you. If the queen moves away instead, best move is pawn takes. And checkmate will follow very soon. If bishop takes the knight, then you can take in f7. King takes as a mate in 3. After queen f6, for instance, then the rook can take with check. It's a disaster. Right now, if the d pawn takes, knight f6 check, king moves, and then queen e6 is mate. If instead black had taken with the f pawn, knight check, bishop takes, knight takes check. Only move is king f8, and then this is game over. So from the start we played the two pawns, and then bishop d3 is a crucial move. Go watch the first videos of this saga so that you don't miss on any setup on how to beat the two fianchetto defenses, g6 and then knight f3, bishop g7, h4, and we're looking at c5. So we ignore it. H5, black takes the pawn, h6, bishop moves, and then knight takes the pawn. So knight f6 is met by e5. We've seen why bishop can't take the pawn, so knight e5 and then bishop e4, pinning the knight to the bishop. Earlier we mentioned that e6 and then we play c4 and we're winning. I forgot to mention that e6 is the best move for black according to the engine. As a matter of fact, there's literally nothing that black can do about this pin. Nothing stops white from playing c4. Let's say if black plays queen to c7 to put a defense over the square c4 and also defend the bishop, then in that case white will castle, But the unpleasant situation remains for black. So after e6, black wants to develop the dark square bishop. White continues with rook e1. And after bishop, let's say bishop to c5, just to make examples. Could have been any other square. Knight to b5 attacks the queen. The queen moves away, still defending the bishop in order to pay attention to the threat of c4. Still, white plays c4. The knight goes away. Let's say knight to c7. Then we give a check. King and queen. So after bishop takes, pawn takes, there's an attack on the knight. So bishop takes doesn't work because you can attack the knight whilst can win a piece basically with a threat of promoting, whilst the light square bishop will be hanging. So the knight has to move. The only square to go to is a6, and now white continues with queen d4 attacking the rook. Of course, castling is not possible because you checkmate. So after rook g8, queen f6 threatens checkmate, and when the queen moves, you'll be able to swap everything and win a lot of material. So in this position, earlier we went through queen back to c8. So you might argue black could play queen c6, putting more defense over the square d6. This doesn't change much because c4, the knight can't move anywhere because bishop takes queen. So what happens with the counter attack like a6 attacking our knight? This is met by knight d6 check, bishop takes, and now Zwischenzug, bishop takes knight attacking the queen. So after pawn takes bishop, white takes the bishop with check, and after the king moves, let's say f8, queen d4 is a checkmate in 3. In this position, if king goes to d8 instead, queen d4 is equally an incredible move. Rook e8 cannot be played because you can just swap it and then queen h8 will be checkmate. Rook g8 to stop the infiltration of the queen is met by mate in 16. Bishop g5 check, only move is king c8. And now the best move is pawn takes pawn. Queen cannot take the pawn in d6 because of rook c1 and a disaster. If queen takes the pawn, desperate for swaps, still rook c1 check. There's no moves now because wherever you play, the queen is free. So if you block either with the bishop or with the knight, they will be pinned.